I guess I'm Canadian in the sense that I think that politics matters, that considered reflection of complex issue is what politics should be about. And I probably become disillusioned with the level of political discourse. I'm very aware that I don't have a lot of time left on this earth, and I can't stand bullshit. And there's just too much goddamn bullshit. And a lot of this is this neocon bullshit. The one thing that really pisses me off about this government is how they make up their minds on very complex issues. Let's take C-51, which is a famous sort of cause célèbre. We have some poor unfortunate sick fellow kill a soldier down there at the cenotaph across from Parliament Hill and then run up and manage to get into the Parliament Hill buildings. And that and another incident went down outside of Montreal where a soldier got sort of run down. Suddenly, that's evidence that there's terrorist plots in Canada. Completely not true. But it allows the government to come in with crisis legislation. We have to give the security service, the spooks, the power to proactively disrupt and interfere in people's lives, to detain people, to deter, and to do it on the grounds that it's inimical to Canada's economic interests and other sort of vague things. And all they have to do is go before a judge and swear a warrant. Listen, I was a reporter for 25 years. I've sat in so many courtrooms, and I would not trust that process in terms of the quality of the judiciary to guarantee, and then there's no review afterwards. The kind of review is terrible. We had a situation where there was a fellow here, a Canadian citizen. He was originally from Syria. His name was Meir Arar. The U.S. Secret Service detained him in Kennedy Airport, sent him to Syria because CSIS said they had information that he actually was involved in Al-Qaeda or something. He was tortured there for a year as an innocent and eventually was brought back and released. And the Canadian government gave him over $10 million as a settlement. He was innocent. And yet during that entire incident, CSIS were constantly leaking stories to the press saying, oh, they had real information that Arar really was a terrorist, really had been trained by Al-Qaeda. Complete fucking bullshit. And these are the people that we're going to trust with our civil liberties? Now, for the majority of Canadians, our name's not Mohammed, we're not from Syria, so we don't have to worry. It'll be those other guys. But that's not a good attitude. We have to protect all citizens in this country. And the immigrant communities that have some issues with terrorist recruitment, and we don't know how bad that is, need to be supported and encouraged so that our civil society is strengthened, not demonized and called Islamo-terrorists and made smears. I mean, when the Prime Minister announced that C-51 down there in Richmond Hill and very sneakily talked about Islamo-terrorists and being recruited in mosques in Canada. That was a terrible thing. Instead, he should be saying, we will stand by our Muslim citizens in Canada. We know they are peace-loving, and they will deal with this, and we're going to provide them the support and the help and stand by them so that where there is family breakdown or some poor, unfortunate young people are recruited as terrorists, we are not going to let that run or destroy the values that we hold dear in our country. Instead, they bring it into Parliament, they close off debate, they will refuse to hear witnesses, and they ram it through. Radical. It's the typical neocon mindset. My mind is made up. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to hear what's happened in other countries. I don't want to hear a variety of opinion. My mind's made up. And that's exactly what they do. They did it on this. They did it on the long-form census. Now, the long-form census sounds like a pretty abstract thing to most Canadians. The hardest thing in government is to make a decision which is based on real information. That's not based on my cousin told me, or some kind of stereotype, or some kind of simplistic picture that I get from the press. It's based on real information. And the only way you get real information is by collecting data on the ground. And that's what that census form did. So when governments are making plans and determining just how many poor people, how many cars there are, where the congestion is, they need to have that census data. Instead, the Tories decided to make it a voluntary act. Nobody in government gave them that recommendation. Every piece of advice they got said, this is not a good idea, Minister. And their reaction was, we don't care. We're going to do it. You know, it's that kind of, they're like, I mean, they're not even smart. It's not even smart government. You know, I could perhaps accept it if I thought, well, it actually is smart and it's actually going to work. It doesn't. It reduces the quality of data, the quality of information, so we can understand how this complex society called Canada actually works. And you need good data to make good decisions. And they destroyed it like that. And that's just one, and it's the accumulation of incident after incident after incident. And Tony's song just hits the high points. I'm beginning to vent a bit here, sorry.
It's okay, I was going to let you go until you got it all out and we can come back.
Sorry.
In my head I was like, I'm just going to post this on YouTube and call it Andrew's Rant.